What if a story wasn't just something you read, but something you could actually live inside, something you could actively change? And what if the story itself could just decide to rewrite its own rules? Well, let's dive into a really fascinating experiment where a fictional universe did exactly that. All right, so first things first, let's set the stage. We are talking about a sci-fi saga called DEUS Modus. Now, if you're into that deep cyberpunk lore, the stories that really push the boundaries between humanity and technology, this might already be on your radar. So it started out in a pretty familiar way as a book series, a classic trilogy, right? Book 1 was Conception, followed by Book 2, Evolution, and everyone was waiting for the third one, Corruption. Seemed like a standard linear path for a story, or so we thought. And what's so cool about this world is just how deep it is. I mean, take this quote describing an entity called Mirage. A riddle in motion. If you see it, it's already rewriting the rules. Wow, that just drips with atmosphere, right? It gives you a real feel for this cybernetic, almost mythical world the author built. It's those little details that really pull you in. But just as readers were getting all hyped up for the grand finale, the story took a twist that absolutely nobody saw coming. And I'm not talking about in the plot, I mean in the real world. An official announcement just dropped out of nowhere, and it was a real shocker. It basically said, from now on, the series will no longer appear in written text. And poof, just like that, the books stopped. The story was cut short right before the end. I mean, can you imagine the frustration? This left everybody hanging, with this one massive question just floating in the air. What happens to this amazing, rich world? What about all the characters we've been following for so long? Is this it? Is it just over? But here's the thing. This wasn't an ending. It was a metamorphosis. The story wasn't dying. It was actually about to be reborn into something completely new, something nobody had really seen before. So this is the big reveal. The narrative literally jumped platforms. It moved into an interactive scenario on AI Dungeon. And the wild part is that the readers, the audience, you, are now invited to actually help create the story. The author is no longer the only storyteller. And getting involved is actually incredibly simple. Step 1, you join the scenario. Step 2, you create your own unique character. And step 3, and this is the absolute game changer, your story, your actions, become official canon within the universe. And this right here perfectly shows what canon really means in this context. These adventures that players create are published as documented history. I mean, look at this. Deus Modus, Allison. Deus Modus, Steve. These aren't just little side quests. They are historical records that the AI then uses to shape what happens next for everyone else. So this brings us to a completely revolutionary idea. What you're doing isn't just a personal game. It is you actively writing the official history of this entire world. I mean, this slide just lays it out perfectly. In a traditional story, right, the author writes it, we read it, and the canon is set in stone. But in Deus Modus, the author builds the sandbox, and we, the readers, become co-authors. The canon isn't a fixed thing. It's this living, breathing entity that's always evolving with every single person who jumps in. And you can see these two worlds colliding right here. On the left, you've got the author's established lore, that cool spooky mirage creature we talked about. And on the right, that's an invitation for you to design your own character for the Cybernetic Countermeasures Unit, or CYCO, and drop them right into that same reality. Your creation gets to exist in the exact same space as the author's. Let this sink in for a second, because it's really the core idea here, stated so simply. What you do in this world, it's not fan fiction. It's not off to the side. It is history. It gets woven directly into the main historical fabric of the whole Deus Modus universe. So this entire model just completely flips the script on storytelling. It's not about passively waiting to see what happens next. It's about being handed a genuine chance to actively shape that future yourself. And this right here is the direct call to action. And it's such a powerful one. Your presence in the story affects the world's future, so does your absence from it. It's basically saying, come on in, influence what happens, but with this chilling little reminder that choosing not to act is still a choice. It still has consequences for this shared world we're all building. And we'll just end on this final, really profound thought from the series author, which is presented as a haiku. Artificial intelligence are man-made tanks for our souls. As we step into this brave new world of collaborative, AI-driven stories, what does that really mean for our creativity? And maybe even for our souls? It's a fascinating question to chew on.